Welcome to another exhilarating episode of Comic Book Straight Talk, brought to you from the secret basement inside one of America's oldest comic shops, Tulsa's own The Comic Empire. Now, true believers, open up your ear holes and get ready to have your head filled with the best comic book knowledge this galaxy can handle. That's right, it's time for another nerd overload with Comic Book Straight Talk.
Welcome back to Comic Book Straight Talk. This is Dalian.
Terry?
Kenny.
And we're without Carrington because you said she's sick.
Yeah.
All right. I wanted to start before we kind of jump into what we're talking about. Our friend Gary that does the Facebook stuff and helps us do social media stuff and put stuff on iTunes and Apple. He passed away, or iTunes and Google. Passed away on the 5th of February. So, you know, obviously our condolences go out to the family and everything, and I know they've been kind of struggling with that and with, you know, with him and more the just it being so sudden.
Yeah. Well, he's been sick, but not to the point to where he thought he was going to die anytime soon.
Right, and so it was cancer that he had, and so,
wish you well, Gary.
Yeah, he's up. He's become one with the Force, you know. So,
yeah, definitely.
So yeah,
he was a huge Star Wars.
He
fan,
was, so
definitely.
yeah, and any of those comics, but you know but he was more of a Star Wars fan, so
yeah.
But he will be missed a lot. So
he had a lot of friends.
He did, yeah.
Good guy.
So yeah. So so I guess talk about what the DC editorial shakeup, or actually the whole, not just editorial. It was more the line wide, well, and upper ups too. Editors, higher up editors and stuff got let go, and some got rearranged. They'd canceled a bunch of trades and collected editions because of Cherusuto, I think was the editor, and was in charge of all that. And he got let go, and so they canceled a bunch of collected editions. And I guess apparently, and yes, it's a crap website. I understand that being cool. Kind of had left a kind of a rumor that they were going to cut their line. And Dan Didio met with Comics Pro at the retailer summit there at the convention and announced that they were going to cut back. Some have said 22 books a month. He's saying that no, they never said that, but other people are reporting that yes, that's what they're cutting down to. 22 monthly books with miniseries and stuff going.
Well, he also denied that Rebirth was going to happen. So,
well, right.
That was going to lead me to a question: is this just another reboot? Basically, I mean, it is, but it isn't. But it seems like every so many over an X amount of time, they just got to do something different to shake it up. Is this just another shake up?
I think it's more of a trimming the fat, in a sense. Trimming down books and
why you
putting.
Gotta hate fat people?
I don't mean trimming. I don't mean the fat. hey, I'm there. I think it's more of trimming the line down, and you put your better creators. You got your core creators. You can kind of focus more, and they want to focus on. From what I had an article pulled up from.
It sounded to me like they were going for quality and not quantity.
Right, which is what you should. I mean, if you're trying to put your best artists on it and your best writers, you don't have to have a whole another stable of other artists and writers that have not been tried yet.
Yeah.
And a lot of DC and Marvel have a lot of artists and writers, and these guys may be good, but they just aren't tried yet, so maybe introduce a few less books with these new guys and figure out who you want to stick with.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're saying they're going to cut it down, its line to stores by another 10 to 15%. Now, he cites the reason is that Marvel has released 109 books in the month of, I believe it was January, I think I was quoting on this. So, honestly,
and that's what Marvel said at the summit was that they were going to do more books.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, yes, it's the summer. We're looking into the summer now. You know, they always have a summer crossover, Blindy White event. They always but why? That's my question.
Why cut back?
No, why? Well, kind of with the white. I understand why cutting back. You know, you got.
Excuse me. Are we talking about Marvel?
Well, I'm talking about Marvel increasing because we kind of.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm jumping over to the Marvel increasing.
There wasn't much of a segue in
there wasn't much. I'm sorry. Right. There's so many War of Asgard spin-offs that they're doing, and it's why? That's my question. Why does every book need a spin-off for this series? I mean,
why do you need that many books? I mean,
well, right. I mean, 22 books. Even if DC did 35 books a month, Marvel could put out 50 and do really good. But why do we need 109?
The average customer isn't going to buy all 50 Marvel books.
No, they're not. And they can't. I mean, books are being, $5 a pop, $4 or $5 a pop. You don't need to put out that many. And so, like Kenny said, I think they're doing quality. They're looking for quality over quantity.
Marvel is looking for quantity. Right.
Yeah.
DC's
cutting back and trying to get every issue at 70, 80,000 copies, whereas Marvel is going to put out more and hope that they sell 20,000 copies.
Yeah, because 15, what were we saying, 15,000 is, for Marvel, is a successful book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this also begs a question to me is, they're putting out all that many books at $4.99 a pop. Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that when there's some other companies now coming out, and we've talked about these companies before. Alterna at $1.50.
Yeah.
Does the book is it really that much better on a shinier, glossier paper?
No.
The paper to me doesn't make a difference really. I actually prefer the newspaper. I always still have. What makes a difference is the quality of the art and the quality of the story. And Alterna has proven that they can put out some books.
Well, and Marvel, their quality is awful because there's some books and you read them and it leaves ink on your hands.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Or your smudge.
Whoever printed
your book.
Right. So, I mean, they could put out fewer books or more books, but they don't have to be that expensive, apparently.
Yeah.
No.
Speaking of Alterna, he was doing a live stream on YouTube and someone swatted him.
All right. Yeah, I heard about that.
Well, I knew you were saying something about that.
Yesterday, there was now this guy actually is Comicsgate, named Edwin Boyette.
Oh, okay.
And they swatted him yesterday too. So
you might want to explain swatting for anybody that doesn't know what swatting.
Swatting is when you're on a live stream on YouTube and someone calls the police and says that there's a crime happening at your house. I know what happened with Peter Cimetti of Alterna was they called the cops and said that he had killed his girlfriend and was suicidal, and
That's
it
crazy.
was pretty bad, and so he's filed charges and the police are investigating, and this guy yesterday is doing the same thing.
So if I was either DC or Marvel, I would cut back to quality with writers and artists and go back to newsprint, and it's a, if you ask me, it's a better. It may not last as long in the long run, but I mean we've still got comics here from that are almost pulp from the golden ages are still around.
Right, they're
but
gonna
the
last.
colors to me are deeper. And richer.
It's like vinyl. Everyone thought, CDs and tapes are going to be much better than, and now digital's fine. But you get a better sound and everything off of vinyl still.
Yeah. That's what I think with the color of, like if you went back.
I was pausing to see if there was an argument.
If you looked at some of the DC omnibuses, like the Batman Golden Age omnibus, and that Baxter, I don't know if it's Baxter paper now, but it's got that glossy look.
Yeah.
And also a big problem is their coloration of it is recolored is horrible. I would just rather see them get those old books and clean them up a little bit, but don't recolor them. The recoloration is awful. Just leave it as it originally was. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So, what else you got on the plate, Dow?
Well, I mean, kind of still
We
talking.
still want to talk about this.
I was talking about this. That Batman Damned got delayed.
Number 3.
It's been delayed. It's been resolicited. Apparently, Dito said he didn't approve the artwork or content for the publication, so that's why it was delayed.
So is it going to be? Are they redoing the art or the
I think
story?
he's been redoing the art, and it'll be in the new catalog that comes out next week.
Well, I hope they're not dumbing it down because of all the hype of the number 1.
They probably are. Well, apparently pages were redrawn for number 2. The Harley Quinn scene was actually redrawn than what we've seen.
Especially, I mean, why
I guess
dumb down?
They had Harley boobies, maybe? I don't know.
Why dumb down these issues of Black Label when all of a sudden the DC universe is reduced? And we'll talk about this probably a little bit more. Their Doom Patrol episode, and there's some stuff in there that's not dumbed down.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's just they're, like I said, trying to cut back because all Warner Brothers, everything was really well on budget wise. They made money except DC Comics, so their publishing didn't make money as if they thought. So that's part of the reason why they're redoing the changes. And like Kenny had said, I think quality. If you can get, I don't know.
I think the
a good writer and a good artist. I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head at the time. On a book, and it's selling 70,000 copies, as opposed to having a book that has sold 100,000 and they're all variants. I think you look at quality over quantity.
Going back to the Dam, I think the hype could have helped the Dam.
It could have.
If DC had not dumbed it down and said, well, we're just, this is our Black Label, this is for mature adults, we're going to continue along this line. But now that they've taken the stance of like, oh, we're sorry, sort of, and and they're delaying issue 3 on top of this to redo it, that's going to hurt it even worse, I think.
Well, never apologize from public backlash.
No. I think 10, 15 years ago, mature labels would have been great for them. Now with the social media and everyone can hide behind their keyboards and say whatever they want to say on Twitter and on Facebook and everything, I don't think now's a good time for it.
The outrage culture.
I think now is a good time to.
But we've just proved that they've tried it, and the backlash. Is what's causing
what
this.
I'm saying.
But here's the deal: the backlash is coming from people that don't read comics anyway.
The backlash is hurting it, and I'm saying the backlash is only hurting it because they backed down.
Yeah.
If they would have went forward, I think it would have been done much better.
Done.
Yes, done much better.
Done. Now, you don't read Venom, do you?
Mm-mm.
You don't read Venom, do you?
I've read some of the past Venom. Are we talking about issue 9?
No, I'm actually talking about issue 11.
Well, issue 11 harkens back to issue 9.
Right. Apparently, Donnie Cates has gotten death threats from a certain group of the fan.
I think we're not talking about the same thing.
No.
Okay.
No, we're talking. I have the article here, and that's put up to it. This is from Comic Book Resources, talking about that he has revealed he's received multiple death and injury threats regarding the contents of Venom 11. He's announced on his Twitter page that. So a few things. One, I'm not changing my plans for these characters, which I think is great. Don't give in to change what happened. It's from a small group of people. Threatening my life or injury to me is not the same. It's not the way to champion your cause. And number 3, shipping is fine, but this is insane. There's people who have shipped Eddie Brock and the symbiote as a couple. Apparently.
What are you talking about? I have no idea what's going on. What the hell is shipping?
Shipping is where, you got Bucky and you've got Cap. So you got I forget the ship word. Where basically take 2 couples and put them together.
Oh.
So people, I guess, are.
So if it was Cap and Bucky, it'd be Cucky
or Cappy. I think.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so they're mad because...
People are mad because they have shipped, or togethered, the Venom symbiote and Eddie Brock as a couple.
So, Eddie
I was talking more about in Venom number... I thought something in 11 revealed something back in 9 that...
Well, it's his brother.
His son is shown up.
Eddie's son? Well, I know his brother has shown up.
Well, his son is supposed to be in, I want to say, Venom number 9, and the variant cover of that is the character from Into the Spider-Verse movie, the Nicolas Cage character is on that cover. And so that's just
the noir. Okay.
A noir
well,
cover.
okay, apparently in 9, which went on sale this week.
11 or 9?
11, sorry. 11. Dylan, the young boy who Eddie Brock recently discovered is his half-brother. So... this is revealed to be his actual son. Sorry,
right.
Spoilers.
But he appears in 9, I think.
Right. He also learned that the Venom symbiote has been altering his memories for years, resulting in his sister and uncle, who he believed had cancer, not being real, along with Eddie's own cancer. So basically, here's a reference to shipping. It appears the fans are lobbying the threats in favor of a romantic relationship between Eddie and the symbiote.
So the people that want the relationship...
Fans, are mad because they're saying that the symbiote, is that it's changing the memories and everything. And it's ruining their relationship. That's what it's saying. Yeah.
I'm still confused.
Yeah.
So the people that want...
Who's mad? The people that want the relationship, or the people that don't?
The fans that are in favor of the romantic relationship are the ones throwing out death threats.
Is it a romantic relationship, or are they just mad because
they are in favor of a romantic relationship? No.
Okay.
They are in favor of a romantic relationship between Eddie and the symbiote, which kind of would almost go down to tentacle porn in a way, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it could be tentacle porn.
Which fans
you
ran on.
You can't get much more than a symbiote and a host.
But my whole thing about it is that here we go again, that a certain group of fans are upset and they're lobbing death threats at the creator.
Yeah, it's just stupid.
It's stupid. If you don't like it, what they did, don't read it.
Well, kind of like sending the police to someone's house during a live stream.
Yeah,
because
right, exactly.
You don't like the fact that he won't disavow any fans. If a fan says they like his book, he says thank you and retweets it. And that makes him evil for some reason.
And it kind of falls back into the whole, I can say anything I want and behind a keyboard and I have no consequences. Well, if you send a SWAT team to someone's house, you have consequences.
Yeah.
You should, definitely, yeah.
That's going to get someone killed.
Yeah. It did. I think I want to say it did.
It did in Oklahoma.
I want to say that, maybe it was. Or maybe I think in Kansas City. Something happened that someone had done that and the guy ended up getting killed,
Yeah, there was like a gamer or something in Oklahoma.
Okay,
was killed.
You get the person who you're calling it on killed. You could get a cop killed too.
Yeah.
It's dangerous all around.
It's stupid.
It is.
It goes back to where the line between fan and fanatic kind of. There may be people that don't like that, don't like something we have said, and that could just call the SWAT team to come to the shop to get us.
Well, luckily, we're in the secret basement.
We're in the basement. They have to find out how to get down here first. But yes. So anyway, that's kind of what I had. So.
All right. What else do you have on the agenda?
Well, kind of want to switch gears to talk about movies.
Sure.
Movies, TV shows.
TV shows.
I saw Battle Angel Alita.
Yeah.
On Friday.
I want to see that.
You didn't go with us.
I was doing some other stuff. Sorry, I wanted to go see it sometime.
I'll go see it again with you.
A lot of thrift stores he's got to hit up, man.
Thrift stores and meeting people in parking lots.
Lots of amazing Spider-Man 300s to find for 50 cents.
Sure. It was 99 cents.
Parking lot antics and stuff like that he meets people in. So yeah.
Hopefully it's a quick trip.
We'll just leave it there. But yeah, no, I'll go definitely. I want to go see it again. So yeah, if you want to go, I'll go see it next weekend.
Looks like it's pretty good. Like everybody else, I'm kind of the eyes kind of bother me a
You know,
little bit.
it kind of bothered me a little bit at the
everything else looks
beginning,
really cool.
but by the end of the movie, you're just halfway. You know, if you watch it enough, if you see the movie, it doesn't bother you after a while.
Have you read why they decided to go with that look of the eyes? Is it just to harken back to the actual
No, because
manga?
The
Because
way,
in that book, her eyes aren't they
Maybe.
generally a little bit larger? Than
you know, I've actually
Been a long
never
time
read.
since I've
I've never
looked at
read
it.
the manga, and I've never watched the anime of it. So I really had no idea really what. I just knew it was based on a manga and on an anime. The eyes, I think the reason that they're big is because the and this may just be me. I don't know, Steve, who went and saw it, he might have a different idea. Or the robotic head they find. I think it's just it fits those eyes, and so that's what I'm saying. As it goes on, you kind of just lose it. That's like people who like watching anime in original Japanese dialogue with subtitles. Eventually, the subtitles go away. You know, you don't really doesn't bother them. It bothers me still. So, but anyway, it's definitely a good movie. It's gotten good word of mouth. I highly recommend it. If I had to give it a 1 to 5 stars, I'd say it's probably a 3.5. You know, it was very entertaining, and so
I finally got around to watching Batman in the Spider-Verse.
Batman in the Spider-Verse,
Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Man Edge of Spider-Verse, and
it was really, really good. I
think we told you that.
The art was really interesting. It was
it's kind of
a digital, you know,
animated,
but at the same time, it's got some of your classic art mapped over it.
Right.
So it's really interesting looking. Characters were done really well. The dialogue was funny at times when it needed to be funny, but not forced. Didn't feel forced.
I was kind of worried because at the first time I saw it, I was like, "Man, the animation looks cool," but I'm like, "It's just something odd about it." But after you're seeing it for a little bit, it's kind of you kind of get immersed into it, and it's fine. I was kind of, which is it, John? Who did this voice of Spider-Ham? I know Christine Heather can tell me right now.
No, I don't remember.
John, I want to say Mulaney, maybe it.
Krasinski?
No, it wasn't Krasinski. It may have been Mulaney. I was kind of worried because, man, Spider-Ham, really? It's going to be a kind of a joke movie now, and no problems at all with him.
No, I mean...
apparently there's like a 30-minute scene that has been taken out with him, like, I guess, on his planet or something, or...
I think... He did portray exactly what he's supposed to portray, this sort of Warner Brothers comedic character, but it was done, they didn't use it so much that it got overbearing, just small amounts of it, and it worked out really well.
Right, yeah, I was fine with it, yeah.
Nicolas Cage did a good job as the noir character.
I wanted more with him.
He was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Spider-Gwen was great, the dialogue between all those characters was great.
Even the music, I thought, was really good.
Even the music was really good. The Michael, the Morales character was done pretty good. He didn't. I was afraid he'd be a little emo, and there were a little bit of that, but not enough to really overbear it. So you know, because he was just got his powers, and he was trying to get it figured out. So it was a good movie. It's overall. So not much else to say really about it other than that. It's a good movie. Go see it. I'm like I said, I coming in late to finally seeing it, so if you haven't seen it, go see it. But most of you probably already have, and everybody that I talked to that had seen it way before me really liked it. So,
well, yeah, because I mean, the girl, Chris and I went and saw it, and we enjoyed it. So, I liked it a lot. So,
and you watched?
And I saw Heather went and saw it with us too.
I haven't watched it yet, but you and Kenny have watched Umbrella Academy, and both of you are really in agreement on that one, right?
We are at the polar opposites on that one. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun first episode that set up the who the characters were, you know, set up the dynamic with them. Yes, it was a lot of exposition on the universe and everything, and the back history of the father and the back history and everything of the characters. But you know, by the end of the episode, you kind of had some stuff moving towards, you know, I'm getting eye rolls, I'm sure, from I'm not looking at them.
I'm not doing anything.
I know.
He's waiting to pounce.
And Kenny has a different take on it.
I'm 3 episodes in. I'm still waiting for something to happen. And there's not the only character that I think is likable is the talking chimpanzee butler.
Okay, I haven't seen it, so I mean, they've done. You're up to 3 episodes. They've got to.
You said you've seen it.
No, I haven't seen it.
I mean, things happen, but I'm just like, this show is boring to me. There's a lot of talking. There's some talking, and then there's some more talking, and then there's like 2 minutes of action, and then there's more talking, and I'm just like bored out of my mind watching this show.
So like you can still. I know that you've watched movies that are just a lot of exposition.
Yeah.
So it's just the exposition for you just hasn't been interesting.
Right.
So.
And all the characters are annoying, especially the Ellen Page character. I wish she'd go away.
But she's like the main thing in the first.
Well, she's
book.
supposed to be the one you sympathize with, and but to me, she's just annoying.
Well, you're 3 in. Has she transformed yet into the white violin? Spoilers. Okay, well, it's.
I'm not watching any more of it, so you didn't spoil
You've
anything.
seen a couple of episodes of Deadly Class, and I've seen the first episode of Deadly Class.
I haven't seen any of Deadly Class.
I couldn't get into most of the characters in Deadly Class either.
No, they're not really likable either, but there's a lot of action.
There is more action.
And a cool
definitely.
soundtrack.
And awesome
soundtrack. It does
soundtrack.
have an awesome 80s soundtrack.
See, I like the end of the with the I think we're alone now, and them all kind of him like the Luther plays it and everything, puts it on the vine that they were going vinyl, puts a record on, and he just kind of starts dancing a little bit, and the other people kind of.
You coming back to Umbrella Academy?
I'm coming back to Umbrella Academy. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Another really
Man,
fine.
I hope
sorry,
we
man.
have moved on to Deadly Class.
Another fine segue from now there.
I'm just going to segue right back to Umbrella Academy. And it's because they were all like, mad at each other in Umbrella Academy at the end of it, and they were all, everything. But then you had the song that's playing, and they're all hearing it through the house, and in their own separate rooms, they're kind of dancing and kind of, I want to say,
Moving to the groove,
kind of not as angry, and kind of mellowing out and dancing and having fun.
Yeah, by episode 2, they're back to being angry and bitter.
Well, by issue 2 of that series, they were back to being angry and also too.
Is a lot of Chemical Romance and Morrissey music being played in these episodes?
Actually, none. No, there was. I figured they.
I might have actually liked it if they'd been playing My Chemical Romance songs in the show.
I thought they would have too, but then they played Tiffany. I was like, okay. But you've read the first
what was
story.
it, Tiffany? Done by Morrissey.
Hush it.
Okay, cool.
I have not read any Umbrella Academy.
I thought you'd read the first
so I was going into this blind.
Okay.
I did get rid of my Umbrella Academy free comic book day long ago, and
That's surprising. That book
it's like
is
$100.
People are seeking that book now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you can find the free comic book day Umbrella Academy, you got a chunk of change.
Yeah.
I have one
Nice,
signed.
sweet, even better.
But it's not going anywhere though.
No, I don't think that's actually your book, is it?
It is my book, yes.
No, I don't. It probably isn't. It's probably Heather's.
It's actually signed by Way and Ba. So, but yeah. Okay, sorry. I'll segue back into Deadly Class. I'm sorry.
No, none of the characters in there are likable either, but there's a lot of action.
The main character, just so far, I didn't get into, but yeah.
But what's neat about it, though, is that through the first few episodes, they're all supposed to be assassins, they're all supposed to be badasses, but he's the only one that's killed anybody.
Right.
And he's not actually supposed to be there. You find out later that he didn't kill the kids in the orphanage, that someone else did.
Right.
And
He took credit for it, I think.
credit was forced on
right,
him.
Yeah, he didn't take credit for it. They just blamed him for it.
They just said it, yeah.
So.
I remember I read the book. I read the book up to like issue 12.
I kind of like the punker kid. He's annoying, but he's supposed to be.
Right.
And the samurai chick, I like her.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the rest of them, and it's hard to understand because he talks so quietly. Is B.D. Wong the
Asian actor.
Well, yeah, but
he's been
I'm just thinking he's not the dean of the school, but the
instructor.
He's been the instructors.
Well, he's like the head of the school,
right?
But it's hard to understand what he's saying because he talks so softly. and he talks really fast, and so I have problems understanding what he's saying. But
I think he does that in almost all of his movies.
yeah, it was hard to understand him in Marco Polo too.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
and
Law and
that
Order.
Marco Polo is a good series too,
Yeah,
which ended way too soon. After
Yeah.
2 seasons.
but I Deadly Class has kept my interest, whereas Umbrella Academy just lost me right off the bat.
Well, I watched
Now,
the
you
first.
watched Doom Patrol.
I-
Really, they're not even comparable. They're two different shows.
Right.
So
They just both take place in a classroom, in a class.
school,
In a
yeah.
school, yeah.
Yeah, in teens or whatever. I
Institute.
watched Doom Patrol, first episode of it. I thought it was done pretty good. I don't know if it can maintain it.
Well, how many episodes is it? Is it 13?
I don't know. I just know I've watched the first one so far. Basically, it just sets up everything. Spoilers, maybe. Kind of gives you a sort of it's a pilot episode. Sets up all the history of each one of the characters. I think they do a good job of it. It actually is an adult series.
Yeah, we kind of were talking about that a while ago. You said how
Robot Man is a little bit promiscuous, and it shows some him boning a chick and showing her boobies flapping around. So,
we say boning.
so it
it's
is
not one of the 7 words.
That's true. It's not
okay.
one of the 7 words.
It's
That's
an
it.
adult. It's an adult series. Definitely.
Well, I mean, it's on their own streaming service, so they can put they can do what they want.
They can't, but that just harkens back, the black label that they're putting out. They're kind of redoing it, but yet they're still moving ahead in the media with a little bit more adult episode.
And Titans, when it came out, said the F word, F Batman, and was more the violent side. But from what I've told, I haven't seen it yet. So, yeah, I mean, on their streaming side, they can do what they want. I'm kind of interested to see how the Harley Quinn animated would do, since they're doing kind of more of adult with Doom Patrol. Maybe they're not so much worried about the adult side on their TV, on their streaming service, as they are like in their movies and in their comics.
Well, I don't think you're going to get an adult Batman TV show. Because it's
Probably not.
Batman.
It's Batman.
They're not going to do that
Yeah.
with Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
Well, right,
But Doom
this-
Patrol, why not?
Right, well, yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Nobody really knows the Doom Patrol for the
No.
most part. So
it's kind of like them putting on that guy named Grant Morrison on the book just to write it, to have do what you want to do, and he did, and so that's why we got on the TV now. We got Doom Patrol because of the popularity of his stuff.
I've always been a fan of Doom Patrol from way back because some of the covers of those old Silver Age Doom Patrols is just beautiful. I mean,
Right.
it's just amazing. So
And like I said, I think I've read 2 issues my whole life.
I've read some of the Young
And one
Animal.
was only because Allred did the art in it.
I read some of the Young Animal Doom Patrol when Way was writing it, but I haven't read
That
any
was
of
the one that Allred did.
Yeah. I haven't read any of the older stuff though, so. But I am actually interested in checking this out. I need to.
I would check out Doom Patrol. I think the first episode is at least worth a watch. Go from there.
Might have to do that.
I may have to just finish watching the Titans too, or if I actually sit down and watch Titans too.
I've not watched Titans yet. I keep meaning to, and something else pops up. Happens.
Because we were having this discussion earlier that me watching streaming shows is kind of, I'm behind a lot.
Well,
So.
there's also so many streaming
Yeah.
things popping up that you have to, purchase. So Disney, DC, Hulu, Marvel.
Has Disney's been out now?
No, it's not out yet, but it's coming.
I still don't see why they just don't use Hulu.
Because
Well,
apparently
they
Star
own
Wars,
60% of Hulu, don't they?
Yeah, they own the controlling.
because Star Wars
Interest.
Resistance is already out, and that was supposed to be on their streaming, I thought, and so.
They're probably taking that framework though and using it. I'm
Yeah,
sure. So.
but why not just put all their stuff on Hulu?
Yeah,
Well, they have
they are.
announced Disney Marvel on their streaming that we are getting a Loki
Loki?
miniseries. No, not Kid Loki. It's going to be Loki through the years, him influencing things that's happened through history. But it's going to be Tom Hiddleston coming back to do it. So,
Oh, cool.
so at least they're getting the big money, spending it to get the people who played him. I mean,
Now get Haley Atwell to play Agent Carter, and
I don't
I
think
might.
she wants to. I don't know.
I think she said something to the effect that the time's passed for it.
Yeah. But I mean, they've announced is it a Black Widow? Well, the Black Widow movie, but they're doing a Scarlet Witch Vision series, I think. Which there again, we have the Scarlet Witch and Vision. Use them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Back to Black Widow.
Back to Black Widow. We're talking about the comic.
This new comic, Black Widow.
That's how you segue.
And,
I'll take notes on that.
And I really wanted to like it because I love Black Widow and I like the Soska sisters movies.
What movies have they done?
Well, the big one is American Mary.
I haven't seen that. Okay.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's a pretty good movie. So I really wanted to like it, but it's not Black Widow. It should have been titled "What If Natasha Was Logan."
Mm-hmm.
That's right, because she went to Madripoor and put the eye patch on because her friend told her to wear an eye patch.
I thought it would be interesting her going to Madripoor because of making it a very gritty story.
Yeah.
Because that's to me the years that Logan spent in Madripoor are some of the best reads.
Yeah, when it was patch.
But
I like that.
But it's not Black Widow. Everything's kind of out of character. It's almost like they pitched another Logan and Madripoor series, and they said, "Well, no, just make it Black Widow."
Yeah, they should
because it
have
doesn't.
Black Widow
it doesn't
Black Widow
follow
there.
her character.
Right.
Well, I know, but in a previous deal that she'd been killed back in the whole horrible Secret Empire story by Captain America, and so this is kind of picking up after that.
Yeah.
And so I don't know there is no shield anymore. There's no whatever, and she's just kind of put her life back together. I think, isn't it? Kind of, is that what the one?
Well, no, she takes on. I think it's Arnim Zola with Cap in the beginning of the first issue.
Okay.
And the Nazi Cap is there, and they take him out or something, and she tells Steve that she needs to leave because she needs to kill people. And I'm just like, and the more I read about it, I'm like, well, they're writing her as Logan.
Right.
These are all things that Logan would do, not Natasha.
Well, Natasha, I always thought that she would kill people.
Yes,
she's not.
She
so,
would,
yeah.
but I don't see her saying, "I need to go kill people."
No, I don't.
No,
that's kind of
that's
odd.
that's something that Logan or
Right.
or Punisher would say.
I can see her saying, "I need to leave and deal with whatever I need to deal with," or something. But yeah, that particular wording is a little odd.
But, and then she's wearing the eye patch, and I'm like,
why start wearing the eyes?
Well, and they make a joke about it in the second issue where she beats the crap out of a bunch of people in Madripoor, and a guy asks another guy, "Well, did you recognize her?" And he's like, "No way, man. She's wearing an eye patch." So, kind of like, did you recognize Superman?
Right.
No way, man. He's wearing glasses.
Yeah.
But I really, really wanted to like it, but I feel like I'm reading a Wolverine story and not Black Widow.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll get better by issue 3.
Well, maybe.
I mean, it's only 5 issues, so.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might pick up the rest then.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Segueing kind of over to Marvel, mentioning the 5-issue thing, kind of brought it back, is that there's talk again of going to seasons with comics. Marvel doing, I think it was Marvel they were talking about doing it, was doing a season of 12 issues or however many, 13 issues, taking a break and then doing another one, which is something we've kind of talked about before. I mean, I think that's a great idea.
Or not doing it if you don't have a good story and artist.
Right. Yeah, that way you have a solid story, and this is going to be really good. And y'all can't see me use my hands. That's fine. But I think that would be a great thing to try to do. Do a season of Daredevil story, like season 1 Daredevil. And do, you don't have to really do the origin because we all know his origin. Do a great, balls to the wall, Daredevil story, and then maybe take a couple issues. and then come back and
I
do
don't
another.
see why they have to do seasons, though. Why don't they just
Right.
tell the story, take a couple of months,
Right.
Oh yeah.
and then come
they're,
back?
they're calling it seasons. Yeah.
But they're going to relaunch it every single time.
Right. I think, like we've said before, is, do, a good story, have a 2-issue fill-in to kind of tie up, any lingering questions and set up the stage for the next one, next story in those 1 or 2 issues. Or let the annual do that, do it. Why do we have annuals in the summer?
As long as they only do it once a year, they're...
Well, right, yeah, but I could have swore, I remember back when I was reading in my younger days, reading that annuals came out at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then so now we get annuals pulled out throughout the year.
Which would make sense, because if it came out at the end of the year, it kind of would tie up the
Right.
years.
Put it out in December. January, start the new issue, and yeah. Anyway, my ADD was just kind of thinking about that, and you mentioned it. Sorry.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So,
All right.
you got anything? Anything else? Anything going on that you want to talk comic-wise? You've been busy, I know, not scouring the comic boards, obviously, with news.
No, I don't think I have anything else.
So I'd like to talk
What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about it.
In 2012,
Okay.
I gave up on Zenescope.
Same here.
I
okay.
did. I thought, I'm burning a lot of money, and it's mostly just because of the covers. I'm going to save my money and quit buying Zenescope, and I'm going to start buying Marvel and DC. Well, right at 2012, 2013, Zenescope took a big leap forward.
Yeah.
And so now I've found myself going back and buying old Zenescopes to read, because their stories are better than what the majority of Marvel and DC is putting out.
And they're basic stories.
And they do 5-issue miniseries, and it's all self-contained, and if it relates back to another book, they do a good job of explaining it. And I thought, that's the sad state of the industry right now, is that Zenescope is putting out the good stories.
Before that, Zenescope was just the hottie book of the month, basically, right?
Well, it was the covers were.
The stories were good. They weren't necessarily told in a good way.
Right.
I mean...
What changed it?
I don't know. But their storytelling has gotten a lot better. Mm-hmm. The dialogue's better. The art inside is better. And they still have the great covers.
Well, I'll have to message you every once in a while. I was like, hey, what's the reading order on this, because I want to read this. And Robin Hood,
Van Helsing, Masumi, or however you say it. The Infernos are okay.
Now, see, I read the first Inferno trade. I liked it. I was like, this is pretty good. And
then there's Mystere, Mystere. I don't know if it's Mystere or Mystery or...
She was in the Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
And then Dance of the Dead's the second one.
But all those books are really fun, good reads. They're not Mary Sue's. They're strong female characters, and there's action from cover to cover.
They're doing it scantily clad.
Actually,
but you know what?
Really.
You know what though? Zenescope's never apologized for that.
They haven't.
They just put out their books, and if you don't like it, then there's Marvel and DC over there to go buy them. But
I can only think of one character that's kind of scantily clad. That's Van Helsing.
Yeah. The rest of them are all pretty much clothed. Yeah. I mean, they might have a bare midriff, but they're wearing pants. They're wearing a shirt.
Which originally started with the Grimm Fairy Tales.
Yeah.
Back in.
And they were scantily clad.
They were scantily clad, yes. And the stories were okay.
Yeah.
They were adapting for modern, but yeah, I mean, that thing ran, well, I guess it's still going now, but it's a second series, isn't it?
Yeah, it went to like 125, 130 something issues, and then they relaunched it. But
because I remember picking them up at the beginning, and that's all they had was Grimm Fairy Tales.
Yeah. Everyone was coming out, and I talked to probably you guys, and you were mainly picking it up because of the covers. And the stories were okay, and so I didn't pick it up for the longest time. Then I picked up. The only thing I really picked up is Neverland when it first came out.
Yeah.
And it started off pretty good. It was a pretty good story.
Well, I liked with Neverland that Hook was the good guy.
Right.
And when you read the reason why he was the good guy and Peter Pan was the bad guy, it made a lot of sense because Peter Pan is a bad person.
Right.
I mean, he steals kids and runs away with them.
I mean, it's not your Disney version of the show of these stories. So you get the old the Grimm fairy tales, the classic
You're
story.
kind of going back to reading those.
Sorry.
So, what would you suggest? Where if somebody wanted to get into Zenescope books, where would they start?
I would go with Robin Hood and Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Those are my two favorites.
What about but if you jump into those, is there anything that you wouldn't understand by just jumping right into those?
So a lot of people ask why Robin Hood has the glowing eye. And, I mean, you could go back and get all of the Robin Hoods and read them, and you would know more of what's going on. But you could really start with Robin Hood at I Love New York.
Right.
Or maybe
even
The Curse.
Or even the new one. Is it Robin Hood Outlaws?
Yeah, Robin Hood Outlaw. But the reason she has that eye is because she was raped and the guy didn't like her looking at him, so he stabbed her in the eye, and that's why she has the scar. And she was taken to another dimension by a sorceress and given a mystic eye, and that allowed her to have perfect aim. And that's why she's so good with the bow and arrow, and that's why her eye glows. But for what they're putting out now, you really don't need to know that because they've kind of moved away from the whole Miss storyline with her. And now she's just a protector of New York City.
And several of them are based in New York. I know she is.
Well, almost all of hers are in New York.
Right, and
Van Helsing it switches from New York City to London.
Yeah.
So you said start off with Robin Hood, what?
Probably I Love New York or The Curse.
And then Van Helsing.
Van Helsing, I'd just go back and buy them all.
Yeah.
They're all good.
Right. I mean, you got Van Helsing versus Dracula, Van Helsing versus Werewolf, Van Helsing versus Frankenstein.
Then
The
The Mummy, and then Sword of Heaven.
Can you also get a lot of these in trades?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all their stuff's available in trades. And now they're getting into Barnes & Noble.
Right.
They just did with this Belle the Beast Hunter, which I haven't read yet. But this new Robin Hood Outlaw, the first issue just came out a couple of weeks ago, and it is like action from cover to cover.
We talk about the genres they've got, because with Day of the Dead, it's more the mystical voodoo.
Right.
Robin Hood's the outlaw kind of I want to say superhero, but kind of.
She's basically a Green Arrow,
right? Yeah.
Hawkeye type.
Van Helsing, obviously, is the horror with the vampires and stuff, and they've actually done Black Sable, which was
is a sci-fi,
punkish pirate story. So they've gone away from just having the one genre and kind of branched them out, and. I mean, they've got one that's conspiracy, one that takes all the conspiracies, or
the Illuminati stuff. Yeah.
And they've got one that just came out called Zodiac, which I've heard is just really good. Been hearing good things about it. Merlin gets a protector to go fight, and so it's he's in armor and all this. But anyway, but. To me, I need to pick up the Black Sable because obviously I like cyberpunk. I like the space pirates and everything else. But I've enjoyed all the others, going back and reading those.
Yeah, and so when I gave up on it is when it got good, and now when I get a Zenescope book, it's the first one I read, and I just think that's sad that here's this company that I gave up on, and they're telling better stories than Marvel and DC. So. And Chuck Dixon does stuff for them.
He wrote the last Robin Hood series.
And he's writing the Sword of Heaven Van Helsing series.
Yes, I haven't got that one yet.
Maybe they're also looking at things differently because they're trying to take, at least originally, they're taking these fairy tales and trying to reincarnate them. So maybe they're looking at these storylines a little bit differently than Marvel and DC. Yeah. They're not really. Marvel and DC are still trying to keep it in a modern time and.
Yeah. All the stuff in Zenescope now takes place in modern times.
Modern, but with more of a
they've left more of the fairy tale part of it behind and taken those characters and built them and made them sustainable characters.
And it's just not like in Marvel, if the World Trade Centers were down in one, or a storm in one book, it's snowing. Sorry, World Trade Center. And you're reading a Spider-Man, that's happening in, and if you're reading X-Men and that's not happening, and they're in the same corner, you got that disconnect. But with the Zenescopes is that they're interrelated. Yeah. If Robin Hood has a problem, she calls Marion. And if Van Helsing has a problem, she calls Marion.
But I heard there's something
do away with Marion. She's an annoying character.
That does connect all the books somehow. What was that?
There was a character,
Selah Mathers. She's dead now.
Is she dead? Okay.
Spoilers.
I was thinking.
Skye took her place.
Okay.
Skye Mathers.
Okay.
It's her daughter, I think.
And she's in Grimm's.
She's the Grimm fairy tale. She's Snow White.
Right. Okay.
So I'm sorry. What's connecting all the books together?
Nothing really.
No,
just the way they tell them.
Right. No, just the way the location kind of and them. If
you mean there was something like the old cross gen where there was a connection,
a sigil?
Like a sigil throughout.
No, there's no. They're all related to Grimm's fairy tales, but you don't have to read the Grimm's fairy tales book.
They're all self-contained, pretty much.
They
may reference a character, or hey, I did this, or
they'll guest star in each other's books,
right.
And
or hey, Lucille Van Helsing, I need your help with this vampire thing, and Robin Hood, so she shows up and helps and stuff.
Zenescope has stepped up their game.
Yeah. Yes, very much.
Have they gotten different, probably different writers?
Yeah,
different writers.
A lot of different writers.
And the art on a lot of them, just like, man, I remember some of them were just like, oh man.
Yeah, I remember it was like Grimm Fairy Tales number 4, I think, and thinking, oh my god, if they're going to continue with this art, they're not going anywhere.
And they've got new up and coming artists that that they've kind of tapped to do stuff. They've got, I think,
and a lot of their cover artists that that was the first thing they did was covers for Zenescope, and moved on, and they're actually working at DC now.
Art Germ for one, he did
Art
covers.
Germ.
When he, I don't want to say nobody, but not well known.
Yeah. When he was still going by Stanley Lau.
Yeah.
And or it used to be Stanley Art Germ Lau.
Yeah.
And now it's just Art Germ.
Mm-hmm.
And Mirka Andolfo started there, and
Ben Oliver, I think, did some covers.
Emanuela Lupacino started there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I'm just amazed at how good the Zenescope stuff is now, and I wish I'd never quit buying their stuff.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it because, like I said, I can sit there and read them, and it may take me 30 minutes to read a 5-issue series.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to read their
but
stories.
You get so into them, and it's just
there's not a lot of exposition. There's a lot of action, and the dialogue's to the point.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of unnecessary dialogue.
No.
Hey, you guys have been talking about it, and I've been interested in jumping back in and checking something out, but I just haven't really asked to see where I need to start.
I think the most easy to get into for a reader would be Van Helsing.
Yeah.
But Robin Hood's my personal favorite.
I like the Van Helsing.
Robin Hood is very much I would rather put an arrow through your face than talk to you type character, and I like those characters.
She did
the
a lot of
Punisher
times.
type
It sounds like
character.
Green Arrow Punisher crossover.
Yeah.
I like Green Arrow, I like Punisher, so I'm definitely probably have to check this out then.
Yeah, but those first couple of stories that took place on Mist, the mystical dimension, there's a thing called the Nexus of Realities or something, and there's 5 realms. There's Mist, Oz, Neverland, Wonderland, and Earth. And they started her out with Mist, and that's where she got the eye and everything. And then they moved her back to Earth, and she really hasn't had anything to do with Mist since.
Not really. I mean,
so those first 2 miniseries are kind of hard to read, kind of hard to get into, but from from her ongoing series on, or Wanted,
I think it was Wanted.
Or The Hunted. The Wanted, I think, was the 3rd miniseries, and then she had her ongoing series that was good, and then I Love New York was good, and they've been good ever since. because she's like this private investigator in New York, but she's always getting in trouble with the law because of the way she is, you know.
She's doing it the Punisher way, and that's usually not the
right
Well,
way
but
to do it.
she has her friend is the commissioner though.
Yeah.
You know, and
Sounds like we got a Green Arrow, Batman,
Yeah.
Punisher crossover there.
Yeah.
yeah. So,
And, you know, sometimes she can be annoying because of the shoot first, ask questions later type scenarios, but she's still my favorite.
Yeah.
Dell, you're getting back into this?
I've gotten back into it. I've read the Robin Hoods, except the newest one. And I've read the Van Helsings, all those. Which I think there's a new one out now, right? Is it the Sword of
Heaven.
Sword of
I think I
Heaven.
said Sword of Destiny, but Sword of Heaven.
Okay, I haven't read that one yet.
And that's the one that Chuck Dixon is writing.
Okay. I read. I just finished up. I read Inferno, and I just finished up Dance of the Dead, or Day of the Dead. So, which I enjoyed it. So
this latest catalog, I saw a cover for Hellchild or something, a new story that's coming out with Hellchild, and I thought that cover was really nice.
And Hellchild was kind of a Van Helsing spinoff, and her stories have been really good. And she is very much I will just kill you.
well,
As,
she's
you know.
she's Hades' daughter.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's Hades' daughter
from
that was in love with Dracula before he was Dracula.
right.
Then he became a vampire and killed her, and then Marion and Van Helsing, Marion from Robin Hood, and Van Helsing brought her. They wanted to bring her spirit back so Hades could talk to her because there were bad feelings, and Hades missed her and wanted to make up for it and never got the chance. And when they brought her back, there was a problem with the spell, which actually brought her back to life. But when it did, she became half vampire because
So
the last
she's
moments,
a vampire. Yeah.
she's half god, half vampire.
Yeah.
But she will kill you.
Does she have a two-headed dog
Instead of a three-headed dog?
or a three-headed dog?
No.
No.
Well, she needs one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
If she had her own little Cerebus.
Yeah, her own little service.
Yeah. So yeah, and I've actually read Salem's Daughter, which is really good too.
Which has nothing to do with the Grimm's universe.
Right. No, it doesn't. No. Well, thought it did because she started in Grimm's Fairy Tale. I thought.
Did she?
Maybe.
I didn't. I don't remember that. I always remember that.
Well,
being
it's
on
set in the
own.
past. It's set like in the past in
Old West.
Old
times.
West time. So yeah. So it may not then. So yeah, that's Kenny letting us know about the Grimm Fairy Tales and the
Can you
Zenescope.
expose on Zenescope?
Yeah.
The one thing, there's good things about Zenescope and one bad thing, and that one bad thing is those exclusive covers.
Yeah.
Because they're like limited to 75 and they're $125, and I'm just like, the collector in me is like, God, I hate you because I can't drop $125
But-
a month on one cover.
Now I've seen because I actually bought one on accident. It was a
You bought $125.
no, not one of these.
On accident?
no. I was getting. I bought one of these on accident, thinking it was the Oz cover by Art Germ, but it was the gallery and had all the covers collected in that.
Yeah,
And so they do at least do something like that.
Yeah.
you can
You
get
could get
those.
them all,
Yeah,
so.
but I'm
Well,
a
that's
big
good.
Keith Garvey fan, and a lot of times when they do those 1 in 75s, it's Keith Garvey doing the art, and I'm like, it just, I don't know, it's the collector in me gets mad
well, that's
about
what I like
that.
with the
but
trades is they. Show
I
all
do
the
like,
covers.
though, that there are 4 variants in the catalog. You can pick which one you want.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Kind of going back to our earlier conversation about the, the Marvel and all the DC stuff, is people are saying that we'll stop doing the variants. Really, it's not really. They're talking about DC stop doing the variants. Well, DC's variants are open order.
Yeah.
Zenescope's open order. Images are open order, I believe, to a degree.
Sometimes,
to a
yeah.
degree. The only one that has really strict variant crap is Marvel.
Yeah. And then they make it impossible to figure
Yeah.
out how to order them, because you have to order 250% of Avengers
Yeah.
number 4 from 6 years ago. Well, how do I know how many I ordered? I mean, that was 6 years ago.
Well, and that's the thing. People are ordering those, and that's boosting the numbers up.
Yeah.
So,
And then the retailer says, well, I have to get this variant because I can sell it for $50, but they're not figuring out that they're spending $80 in issues that they're never going to sell in order to get the variant, sell it for $50.
But on the good news, starting this January, or this month, we're still in January. No, we're in February. Damn. January sales were stronger this year.
Yeah.
So that's a good positive.
For the comic industry.
For the comic industry, yes, right. yes. So we'll see.
Those are shipped numbers. Those aren't sold numbers.
Were they shipped? I thought they were sold.
No, because stores stores don't release their sales numbers.
That's true.
So yes, there were a lot. The shipping numbers were better, but someone needs to get with the stores and find out.
Right.
Did these sell?
Right.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go out there on Mike's shelf and look, and look at House of Whispers and how many copies he still has sitting on the shelf.
Yeah, he said he's going to cut it down a little bit on stuff, but then
cut it to the bone.
But then some stuff he's cut to the bone already. It's too much. It's like okay. Yeah. So, that's all I've got. So
no, it's a pretty interesting discussion and a topic I didn't know much about, Zenescope. So. Interested in reading about that. So I learned something.
Yeah, Zenescope has changed. It's not the same as it was when it came out, and check it out with an open mind.
Just one other thing on Zenescope is that it's good for you because you like the stories, but is that also bad for some of the people that like the old Zenescope way?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think most of the people that were on Zenescope at the beginning would like it better.
Yeah.
Because it's not so convoluted with the whole realm wars and all that stuff.
Yeah, they've got rid of all that. They still reference it.
That's what Grimm is.
Right.
Grimm deals with the different realms.
Right. But I know in Day of the Dead, the tarot, which I guess they have their own series, I think, also.
Yeah, they have a mini-series.
Which they've kind of been the bad in Robin Hood for a while, some too. So and now they're the bad in Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely check out Zenescope books.
Check out the new Doom Patrol episode.
New Doom Patrol episode. Watch Umbrella Academy. Tell us if Kenny's right or if I'm right, or what you think,
right.
Or if I should even watch it.
I think everyone should watch it with an open mind and make up their own mind. Yeah. To me, it was a boring show.
Well, my favorite scene was, like I said, the dance scene at the end, but the scene in the diner.
Yeah, the kid that pops in and out of the future. He's okay.
Number 5, yeah.
Yeah, but really the only character I've liked in that show is the talking monkey.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of monkeys, I'm sorry, Hit Monkey Hulu is getting their own show. So
still got all your Hit Monkeys?
I don't. And what's funny is people were looking for that Deadpool 19. It's the first appearance of Hit Monkey. It's actually not.
I thought it's in Hit Monkey number 1.
It's Hit Monkey number 1, but a lot of people.
And on top of that, there is a black and white variant, second print variant that's limited, of course.
And it's like.
And it's a $100 book now.
$400 billion.
Yes.
Yeah, I had all those Hit Monkeys at one time. I thought, they ain't gonna do anything.
I like Hit Monkey. I have got the Hit Monkey.
I liked
it was
them.
only, what was it, 2, 3 issues?
4 issues.
4 issues? Okay, yeah.
Well, then they did a second 4-issue miniseries.
Right, there's a second, yeah.
I remember seeing them in Dallas in someone's 50-cent box saying, I should buy these because, everyone's always said it was a good book. And I'm like, it's Hit Monkey. Yeah.
It's a monkey. I have been trying, and I have not been able to get everybody on board with this yet, to do an all-monkey episode where we just discuss monkeys throughout the history of comic books.
Well, back in the 60s, the 50s or 60s, DC they did the research and found out that they could up sales by putting monkeys on the cover.
And to a point, though, it got so bad that DC had to limit it to 1 monkey cover a month or something to that degree.
Yeah.
We will discuss the monkeys next epised.
In
tribute of Peter Tork.
In tribute to Peter Tork.
Passing away, we will do monkeys next episode.
Well, I will prepare some monkey
So Terry will have all the monkey news you need to know. And I don't mean the group either.
I don't know if I can have it all because there's a lot of monkeys throughout the history of comics.
That's true. Yeah. So, all right. Well,
there will be no monkeying around in there.
No monkey around?
That's right.
No monkeying around.
Not during the monkey episode.
No monkeying around. Okay. All right. So this is Dalian.
Terry.
Kenny.
And Carrington would say it's Carrington here, but she's not here. So have a good day and
take care.
Take care.